Police have admitted they're not prepared for a repeat of last summer's protests.
Yes, as officers are deployed to keep the peace outside a four-star hotel in London that is reportedly preparing to welcome asylum seekers.
Rising tensions not helped by a Daily Mail exclusive that reveals this morning thousands of migrants are getting taxpayer handouts. And, well, we knew that, but they're using them, some 6,000 of them, at casinos and betting shops.
So, is this the start of a summer of unrest? Well, let's speak now to Matt Vickers, the Deputy Conservative Chairman. Very good morning to you this morning, Mr Vickers.
Good morning.
And shall we start with, this admission, the stark admission from the police that they are not ready for a potential summer of unrest?
So one of the main reasons they won't be ready for any potential summer, I don't like the idea that we're talking up and expecting one and making lots of noise and suggesting it should happen, but I think one of the reasons they won't be prepared is because under the last government we got to record numbers of police on our streets. The big news yesterday was the police workforce numbers came out and the number of police on our streets has gone down. It's fell by 1,316. We said this would happen when the budget came out and when our police forces got slammed with that national insurance increase. They're literally taxing the police off our streets, and it will have real consequences in all sorts of situations, particularly in what might come this summer if what they're saying does happen.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're quite right that when you left office, numbers were at their highest level. I think it was 147,700 full-time equivalent police officers. But that was after years. I mean, you brought them back up, but you slashed them in the first place.
They were higher than ever, so we put 20,000 after I was elected. We put 20,000 more police on the streets. That is literally the highest number ever. And we don't want to be going backwards on police. We want to be going forwards. We should be adding more police. But this government, we told them what would happen, and it's already down 1,316. Less police on the streets in communities like mine and yours. That has real consequences, particularly what they're saying might happen this summer.
What's your reaction to the scenes that we've seen in Epping, the scenes we've seen in Canary Wharf? Nigel Farage warning that there is a potential for a summer of unrest.
I think the thing is there's two sides to this story. One is you've got individuals turn up from here, there and everywhere with extreme views who just come in to cause trouble. And they have to be treated very differently from real people who are concerned about what's going on in their community, who have the right to protest. And you've got to separate the two out very clearly. There's got to be real consequences and sanctions for people who bring about violence in those communities. But the reality is that the people who lose out, the cost of this violence, of people who turn up and have a, punch up in the street and create all sorts of chaos, the consequences are felt by those communities, because not only are they dealing with whatever's gone on by way of these hotels and trying to protest about it, it's the elderly people who daren't go out at night because they know this stuff's happening in their community in a way it never has. It's the businesses that have to shut their doors early, take the financial hit, be afraid to open and do business, and people can't go to work. There are real consequences to that sort of violence on our streets. We don't want to see it, but at the same time people should have the right to protest over what is a terrible situation. Some of the incidents that are suggested to have happened with some of these migrants are appalling.
Well, yeah, I mean, as you say, no one wants to encourage violence. It shouldn't happen. It's not the right thing to do. However, we have reached a point in this country, haven't we, where ordinary working people have reached their limit. And nobody seems to be acknowledging that, at least not in any practical way, which is going to make any change.
Well, I think there is an acknowledgement of it. I mean, when you look at what has happened, at one point hotels were being closed. Keir Starmer got elected and we are opening more hotels. The number of people arriving in the country hasn't gone up a little bit. It's gone up nearly 50%. 44,000 people have arrived in the country since he was elected. The thing was very bad, was unacceptably bad, and now it's on steroids. He's rolled out the red carpet. He said to people, he has changed the law in the House of Commons to say that if you arrive in this country illegally, you can become a British citizen. That's appalling, that's atrocious. We had all the fight go on to try and put the Rwanda scheme in place. I mean, the reality is if you arrive in a country illegally, if you break into this country, you have committed a crime, you should be detained and you should be removed. And until we start doing that, more and more people will continue to arrive. The easier he makes it to get British citizenship, the more people are likely to arrive. There's got to be real consequences. We've got to deter people from coming. We've got to, we talked about removing benefits for foreigners, and actually my party put forward amendments in there to the Labour Party's Nationality and Borders Bill that would have said we would deport you if you commit a crime in this country, any crime. At the moment, you've got to get a sentence of 12 months. We said, no, if you come to this country and you commit a crime, you are going, including if you arrive in the country illegally. We then said that all of the mess with Chicken Nugget Gate and the chap who couldn't be deported because he didn't like the idea of having to have a shave, ridiculous outcomes that are happening in ever-increasing numbers. We said we should disapply the Human Rights Act from those cases. We should, in cases of deportation and immigration, so these people can be removed without the frustration of the courts. Even in Greece now we're seeing this happen, where instead of letting these things go through ridiculous lengthy court cases, if you break in, you're getting sent back. That's what we need to do. That is the only way we're going to stop this problem.
Can I ask you about the Telegraph this morning that's reporting that since Kemi Badenoch became Tory party leader, 8,000 people have left the Conservative Party, and this follows two major defections. Sir Jake Berry, former Conservative chairman, defected to Reform after 14 years as a Tory MP. He says now that only Farage can fix Britain. Laura Ann Jones in Wales also defected to Reform from the Tories, saying similar. They think that Reform is their only chance of being re-elected. And if you look at the polls, they're not wrong, are they?
Do you know what? Well, our party took a grubbing in the last general election. Nobody said overnight it would be fixed. In fact, we know it won't. From history, we know it's a very tough thing when you get sent a message like that from the electorate. You've got to listen to them. You've got to go away, dust yourself down, look at what you should be offering the country. That's entirely what Kemi's doing. I think when you look at the people who've defected, most of them we probably could have took a guess, although not Jake Berry, because of course he was a reformer, so maybe it is a bit different him going. But actually, in real terms, we're making that offer. I mean, the big dividing issue now is on benefits. We've seen it. We've seen Farage is quite happy to have uncapped benefits. He's saying we'll remove the two-child cap. The Labour Party can't do anything on welfare reform. We're saying that taxpayers deserve value for money. We want to support the people who need support, but actually we cannot allow, I mean, under this government, we've seen the number of people sign up to sickness and incapacity benefits reach 3,000 people a day. It's gone up by 50% since Labour came to office. That is unreal. That is a huge cost for taxpayers, for hard-working people, for businesses that are now being taxed out of business, the job creators who are being taxed out of all business, all investment. It's a disaster. 69,000 jobs lost in the hospitality sector recently.
Right,
really bad news for the country because people have to pay for these things.
Yeah, but what we're looking at here is momentum towards reform. And the reality is, as their polling continues to increase amongst the public, there's going to be more and more of your colleagues, aren't there, who say, well, if I do want to keep my seat in this place, I'm sitting with the wrong party.
Well, do you know what? We never underestimate the opposition, but we also don't obsess about the opposition. We're putting forward our offer to the British people. There's a hell of a long way to go. When I knock on doors and talk to people about what's happening in welfare, they're not on board with Farage's idea of uncapped benefits, of removing the two-child cap. They want us to put forward an offer. That's what we're going to do. You watch this space.